Right, Bo. H1B visas. Donald Trump has signed an executive order decreeing from on high that $100,000 must be paid for, well, for the visa, basically, yearly. So that's a yearly thing. So yeah, people are up in arms about it, it seems. But this is a little bit deeper than just that. There's a lot more to it, actually, because there's been some clarification and things and blah, blah, blah. As always, these things are not as the golden goose as they seem to be. But on face value, it's quite funny. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Yeah. So they're not just letting in any old Tom, Dick and Harry. In fact, you'd have to be earning damn good money if your first 100 grand, well, not your first 100 grand, but 100 grand a year, you've just got to put aside one way or another to cover that. So you've got to be making well good money, pretty much.
Well, it's the employer. The employer has to pay 100,000.
Oh, right. Well, still, and then you have to be of great value to that employer, then, put it that way.
Exactly. So this is obviously to combat just random foreigners. Actually, mainly it is Indians, right? Like that is who takes the H1B visas. It is Indians. And there's been some. I'm not gonna. Don't worry, ladies and gents watching this. I'm not going to offend your ears with loads of the videos going of these individuals saying, you know, we run your country and all this kind of stuff. No. A quick rebuttal for that would be, if you do, then you will have no issue going back to India and running India. Then will you? It'll be fine. Yeah. It'll be fine. Don't worry about America. Don't worry about it. It's all right. It's all right.
Not your problem. Go make India great again. It's fine. We're happy with that. We're happy for that. Yeah, you do that.
Has it ever been great?
No. Why are so many Indians dying to not live in India? Why is that?
Because we don't rule it anymore.
Because it's a shithole.
Literally, because they excrete in the street.
The thing is, India has got some extraordinary natural beauty, but yeah, the cities, the inner cities, yeah, an absolute fever dream of chaotic filth. Yeah. The infrastructure, terrible, absurd.
Well, we left them. So for those that don't know, I don't understand how you wouldn't know this, but India was part of the empire, right? The British Empire. We left them such beautiful architectural structures. We left them infrastructure that it was working. It was great, obviously, because we used it. You know, it was ours. We had the infrastructure. We wanted it. So we left it when we left them. And they just, buildings left to decay. They just shit in the street, these people. And that's not a stretch. Go Google Poo to the Loo was a massive campaign in India that they had to push to make people use toilets, and still people don't use toilets. You don't understand these people, okay? You don't understand them.
Can I say two just anecdotal things? Right. I once worked in a company that shall remain nameless. It's Bank of New York Mellon in Brentwood in Essex, by the way. And we came over a team from Pune, India. Pune's in southern India, isn't it? And a team of, I don't know, it was 15 or 20 people from Pune were working on, they were doing like some sort of computer-based thing. I don't know. I had absolutely zero to do with them. And when they started coming over, immediately there was like problems with the toilets. And what I mean is there was shit left on the floor and smeared around in the cubicles in the toilets, right? So at first there was like emails going around from senior management. Can you make sure that you if you clean up after yourself? Very polite. and then it was like it kept happening, like the next day and the next day and the next day. And then there was like, if we ever find out who this is a serious, you'll be, HR will be involved. And then after like 2 or 3 or 4 days, it was obviously them. And anyway. And after they went back to Pune, it just stopped. right? So it's obviously them. And anyway, it turned out after like weeks or months and the rumor mill and whatever, however it was found out, is that they would stand on the toilet and like so a foot on either side of the toilet bowl and squat down, like but standing with your feet on the. Now, if you do that and you're not like used to that and don't care, you may well not get all the shit perfectly in the toilet, right? So okay, there's that. But then not if you then miss to any extent, not cleaning it up in any way. Like if it's not perfectly solid, splattered everywhere, just leave it there. Just walk away. Just walk away from that. It's like,
why would you pick it up? Why would you pick it up?
So that's a very, very real anecdote. That's a lived experience, and I haven't exaggerated a single detail of that. Anyone that was at Bank of New York Mellon in like fucking 2010 or something in Brentwood, Essex, well they'll be aware of that. They'll be aware of those incidents. And another thing is, I once went another anecdote. It's not shit related this time, so don't worry about it.
Yes.
I went to India. Well, I didn't go to it, but I was in India once, just on a layover flight. And I had to be in the Indian airport. I can't even, again, it was many, many years ago. It must have been Delhi, I suppose. I can't quite remember. Yeah, it must have been Delhi. And it was a layover. I had to just hang around Delhi for like a few hours, for 5-6 hours or something. So I got a tiny snapshot of India in and around the airport there. And everything was dysfunctional. Everything. Like, sometimes in this country, you'll see 4 or 5 workmen standing around doing nothing while one of them very, very slowly, begrudgingly does a tiny bit of work. Imagine that, but just dialed up 20 times.
Just everyone.
No one's doing any work. There's queues of people queuing up for things, and a bunch of people at the front who's supposed to be doing work, and they're just not doing anything. Just not doing it, just talking amongst themselves, and the infrastructure outside, just everything's a complete broken mess. Everything.
Brilliant.
And it was. Again, just a lived experience, an anecdotal, real piece of evidence.
Brilliant.
So when they say things like "we built your country couldn't work," like they say it's in Britain as well, but in America as well, like your country wouldn't work if it weren't for us. Nonsense. That's not true. When you go back to India and sort your own shit out, we'll be fine. We're fine without you. Absolutely, much better off actually. So yeah, off you pop. So the HB1 thing. Anyway, back to Trump.
Yeah.
That's great. So hopefully, and it's the way it's always used to. It was the way it always used to be. That you couldn't just get into Western European countries or the United States if you couldn't prove really that you're of some value. Certainly, if you've got any sort of criminal record. I think John Lennon had a very, very minor criminal record at some point when he was a young man. But even when he was a famous Beatle, he had troubles getting a visa back then. So yeah, this idea that they'll just let anyone in, unvetted, don't matter what you're earning, what job you've got, even if you've got a job at all to come to, that's all sort of very, very, very new. So if Trump's turning the clock back on that, even to a small degree, surely that's welcome.
Yeah, so let's have a look at it, right? So this is what was announced. Trump adds $100,000 fee for skilled worker visa applicants. Okay. And he says that this is because, we need great workers. So it does actually ensure that people that get these visas will be of value, because there now has to be a put up or shut up, monetary value added to their name. So they either are going to be really, really good, or no one's going to put that kind of money up to, dollar value against them. Or alternatively, is you'll get more American employees, and that's the real thing, isn't it? That's the point that he's trying to do. He's trying to be trying to protect American livelihoods.
Yeah.
So Trump, spoke about the abuse of the programs. will restrict entry unless payment is made, which is perfectly reasonable. Critics have long argued that H1Bs undercut the American workforce. They do. It's not up for debate. Of course they do. Supporters, which Elon Musk is a supporter of, and I agree with him on a fair amount of stuff. I disagree with him on just wanting to import the third world just so he can get some cheap labor. And that's just 100%, ridiculous.
100%.
But yeah, so and then Trump's also going to do this whole like gold card thing, but we're not here to talk about that. But what it is this: the order itself is going to come into force today at the time of recording this. We are recording this on Sunday, the 21st of September. And so he said the company needs to decide, is the person valuable enough to have $100,000 a year payment to the government, or they should head home and they should go hire an American. All of the big companies are on board. So this caused quite a lot of issues. Callum, former Lotus Eater, tweeted this out and worthwhile covering. So 4chan started doing this thing called Clog the Toilet, which is brilliant. Love the autists. And it was basically just trying to reserve flights so they couldn't come back, from India to the States, right? That was the whole point behind this, because everyone was freaking out that had left the country to say, well, my visa is going to be invalid then. So 4chan being 4chan just took it upon themselves to do this mass movement of clogging the toilet, clogging the booking systems. Because what can happen is you can confuse it. Well, one, you can confuse a computer system. And then it would end up like hiking the price up as well, which was hilarious because obviously multiple people were trying for for the same flight. So then the flight system started to sort of bump the prices up here and there. Oh, look, there's that awesome Nate, aka Mistake Reviews there, replying to an Indian. He's worthwhile chucking in here. He says, imagine being so jobless that you sit on 4chan blocking airline seats just to stop Indians with H1B visas. Pathetic racism disguised as trolling. I said, you're Indian.
Oh, well.
Make India a place you want to live rather than fleeing.
Yeah, good point. No, perfect, right? Yeah. Yeah, imagine thinking your own country's so shit that you don't want to try and make it good at all in any way. Imagine that. Anant. Imagine that.
So funny. So that was a big thing. That was great because people were genuinely worried. And then unfortunately, no need to rush back.
Cool. Okay, fair enough.
Clarification was given on the H1B visa rules. A US administration official clarified that the newly announced $100,000 fee on H1B visas only applies exclusively to new applicants, offering reassurance to current visa holders. So I think there's a few things. So they said, look, those who are visiting or leaving the country or visiting India, they don't need to rush back before Sunday or pay the $100,000 fee. $100,000 is only for new and not current existing holders, the US administrator told the ANI, this is the Times of India or whatever it is. So that's a shame, right? Like, I would love this to be retroactive. That would be brilliant. And you know what? Actually, it should be retroactive. Categorically, it should be retroactive because there's so many people that will be, on these visas now. They just shouldn't be there anyway. They just should not be there. It is good though. It's something, and it will stem the flow. Because there's millions and millions and millions of them, and they don't belong there. They don't belong there. They could just make India a good place. And loads of other people have done videos on it, so I'm not going to add to that into this segment here today. But loads of people have been looking at Reddit, in India, Indian subreddits, and just looking at how they hate India so much. Like the Indians hate India. And it's so funny because they're so proud. We'll have you typing furiously down below right now, I'm sure, a bunch of bloody Indians. But you hate it. That's why you're in the West, mate. You hate it.
Yeah.
Admit it. There's shit in the street, unhygienic, it's gross. Admit it. But no, you need to go there, stay there, and make it good. Anyway, there you go.